What's going on, everybody? Matt here with Patriot Comics. Welcome to another video. So I just got back from an amazing outdoor collectible show. There was vintage toys, comic books, records, all different great pop culture and nostalgia. Lots of great stuff. I had a great time, and there was a lot of vendors there, including me. I had my own booth there this time, and I was selling comic books. It was so much fun. I met a lot of great people. I took a bunch of footage at the show, and then we'll take a look at my own personal booth where I had all my comics laid out, and then we will take a look at everything I picked up at the show. So let's take a look at that footage now, and we'll come back here and check out the comics that I picked up. So here's my table at the show. I have all of my priced books right up front. I have some $3 bins, some $5, $8, and $10 bins, as well as some cool keys. And then in the back here, I have all of my $1 books. There's about 16 boxes of dollar books, but I was selling them for less than $1. I was trying to give out the best deals I could, selling people books for 50 cents. And, you know, the more you buy, the more you save, I was telling everyone. I was just trying to unload as much of this bulk as possible. I also brought my key comic wall with me with some pretty cool keys, and I try to price those as fair as possible. But this was a really fun show. I picked up some comics, and I'll tell you all about that in just a moment. All right, so before we get to all the books that I picked up, I want to say how much fun I had at this show. This was the Shoreline Toys and Antiques Outdoor Collectibles show. There was old records and vintage toys and lots of comic books and just all different really great nostalgic items. As you saw in the footage, there was just so much cool stuff, a lot of vendors. And the best part was that it was free to get in for the people that wanted to buy stuff, and it was free for all the vendors. You did not have to pay for tables, which is amazing. So I figured, why not? I had some comics that I wanted to unload, and I brought a bunch, and I think I did pretty well. Actually, I ended up selling about $250 worth of comics, which isn't a whole lot, but it's actually pretty good for me. I'm really happy about that, and I think it was well worth my my time and effort. So I also want to shout out some of the great people that I met for the first time and some other cool friends that I saw while I was there. One of the other vendors was Catacomb Comics. He's got a great presence on Instagram, super cool guy, and he's always has great comics up for sale. Check him out on Instagram. Also, one of the guys that bought stuff from me has a YouTube channel, and that is Connor's Comics. Really nice guy. He's got a wealth of knowledge on comic books. He's always out hunting. He's got a great YouTube channel. You can actually see his comic book haul of all the books that he bought from me on his channel. So definitely check that out. And who else? John the Comic Guy stopped by and hung out for a while. Shout out to my buddy Darren, who bought some books. You know, a lot of great people were coming through. I met a lot of great new people, and it was just so much fun. So definitely one of the better outdoor flea market type shows that I've done in a while. And, you know, it was really nice to see the different types of people that were buying comics. I mean, there was, you know, all different generations. There were young girls and guys, you know, kids buying stuff. There was, you know, middle-aged and older men and women that were diving through the comics. So it's really great to see all the different people that are still buying comics and still have that love for reading and collecting comic books. It was a really great thing to see. So much fun at the show. Shoreline Toys and Antiques. They have a storefront in Richland, New Jersey, and they put on these shows, I think, 2 times a year, and it's just an amazing time. It's all free. They had food trucks. They had multiple vendors. You know, a lot of great stuff at that show. I tried to go and dive through stuff earlier in the morning once I had all my comics and my booth set up. My wife came with me. She actually took all the footage that you saw. So thank you, Mrs. Patriot Comics, for taking all the camera work. And, you know, I tried to go out and find comics and dive through the bins, but I didn't have a whole lot of time because I had to get back to my booth, and people were, you know, buying lots of books. So it was so much fun. All right, let's get to all the comics that I picked up. First off, let's go with all my dollar bin finds. First one here is X-Men 24. It's actually in a really nice high grade. Just a classic Andy Kubert, you know, Rogue and Gambit cover. I always love this book. When I find it in dollar bins, I have to grab it. I probably have a handful of copies in my collection already, but why not for $1? Pretty cool, and it's actually in pretty high grade. Another dollar bin find is Son of Satan #1. Unfortunately, this one is in way worse condition than I realized. I just grabbed it because I saw it in the dollar bin. It's in really low grade. It actually has the center pages detached, and the cover is attached, but I think the center pages are detached from the staples. But still, pretty cool for $1. It's a nice little key, you know, if you can get it in higher grade. But for $1, why not? Next book here I found in the dollar bin was pretty cool. This is Masters of the Universe, issue #1 from Star Comics, which is, you know, by Marvel. But this was a newsstand, which was cool to see. And it's also in kind of lower grade. The bottom staple is detached on the cover. I didn't realize that. I just was grabbing stuff that I thought was cool that I found in the dollar bin. So not too bad for $1. I wish the staple or the cover was fully attached. That would have been a lot nicer. But still a cool book to find in a dollar bin. And then from another vendor who had all different priced comics, I bought Marvel Chillers featuring Tigra the Werewoman, issue #4. It's got a great Craven cover. It's in kind of more of a mid-grade. The book's a little dirty, but I paid $2 for it. I love these Marvel Chillers books, and this one had a great cover, so I had to grab it for $2. Not too bad at all. And then this next one was from another vendor who had a lot of really cool stuff. He only had a handful of short boxes, but he had some really good books in his boxes. So I was diving for a little bit. There was some cool stuff. I ended up just grabbing some cool horror books. So this is Fear, issue #6, which later becomes Adventure into Fear, which features like the Man-Thing titles. But in the beginning, the first handful of issues were just labeled Fear, and they were, you know, some old horror reprint stories. Really, really cool cover. This one's in a lower grade, but I got it for $4, and I needed this one to complete my collection. I think I'm only missing like 2 or 3 of these Adventure into Fear books to complete the entire run. So I'm really excited to grab another one here. So Fear #6, Pretty cool cover. I actually like that brownish color with the yellow trade dress. It just looks very Halloween, very horror-like. All right, this was a really cool find. This is Tomb of Dracula, issue number 5. Awesome cover. Gotta love the early Tomb of Dracula books. I did not have this one in my run, so happy to add this one. It's probably going to be more of a place filler because it's kind of in lower grade. I ended up paying, I think, $5 for this one. It's got a lot of, spine wear, and it's got a little bit of a spine roll to it. I'll probably end up fixing that in the press, but still, not a bad looking book, great cover, and for $5 for a early Tomb of Dracula, not too bad at all. Gotta love the Tomb books. I'm almost finished that run. I still need the big books though. This was another great find from another vendor. This is Werewolf by Night 31. In the last page of this book, it has a teaser of the next issue, which is, everybody knows, Werewolf by Night 32, which is the first appearance of Moon Knight. So in the last page of this book here, it actually has a little teaser saying that Moon Knight will be appearing. So pretty cool, a little precursor to the first appearance of Moon Knight, and not a bad book. It definitely has some value, and I got this for $5. It has a little bit of like color rub on the spine, and it's got color rub everywhere, to be honest. But still, for $5, I think that was a great deal. Super cool book. I actually have a higher grade copy in my personal collection already, so maybe this one will go for sale or for trade. And second to last book here, I found from another vendor. A lot of people had comics, which was really fun. There was a lot of vendors at this show, and the majority of them had comic books, whether it was all comics or just like, a little pile or one short box or a couple short boxes. But most people had comic books, and it was great. So it was a lot to look through, and I was very limited on time, so I just grabbed what I could and what I found. But I found Alpha Flight issue number 1. This was in very high grade. There's no spine ticks. There's like a little something going on right there that might be able to be cleaned off. But very high grade book, and I got this for $5. I thought that was a great deal. Gotta love these Alpha Flight number 1 books. I love the yellow backgrounds with the red trade dress. Always looks great. But for $5, very great deal. And the last book here, this was kind of a funny story. So a younger gentleman, I don't know how old he was, maybe in his early 20s, came up to my booth and said he actually had a booth, a table down the row from me. He was selling all Ninja Turtle stuff, all these Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle like toys and different memorabilia. And he came up to me and saw that I was selling comics, and he said he had no interest in this book. I think he said he won it or somebody gave it to him, or I think he said he didn't pay any money for it. And he asked if I would be interested, and I kind of looked at it. I didn't recognize it at first. I actually tried looking it up on like Key Collector, and I couldn't find this cover. And I just wasn't sure, but I did see down here it was signed by Kevin Eastman, which is pretty cool. I don't actually have any Eastman signed books, and I'm not the biggest Turtles fan, but I thought it was kind of cool, and it was definitely an interesting looking cover. And I asked him how much he wanted. He said $10. And, I kind of hesitated. I'm like, I don't know if I really want it. I mean, $10 really isn't a lot of money. But then he said, I just wanted to buy my girlfriend a gift, and I just wanted a couple bucks to go buy her something at the show here. And I'm like, all right, for $10, and it helps the young guy out. That is super cool. So I gave him $10, and he was more than happy. He gave me the book, and I did a little bit more research later on in the day, and I realized this is actually a Kevin Eastman exclusive. I didn't even really look down here, but it's, EastmanStudios.com, Team Eastman. It's got his signature on there, and this is like an exclusive cover of issue number 59, And this actually has some type of key significance. I'll throw it up on the screen here. I couldn't remember off the top of my head right now. I'm not the biggest Turtles fan. But for 10 bucks, I thought that was really cool. And the guy that sold it to me was very happy. So, you know, it was a win-win. So, kind of interesting, kind of funny story. So, we got a little Turtles. We got Alpha Flight. You know, we got a little bit of Bronze Age horror with some Tomb of Dracula and Werewolf by Night. And even a little bit of Fear. Love that book. A little Marvel Chillers. And then some cool dollar bin finds. Masters of the Universe, Son of Satan, and one of my favorite Jim Lee X-Men covers. Well, it's an Andy Cooper cover, but, you know, from this run of X-Men. So, pretty cool. Only paid, you know, not too much money for all those books. Pretty excited about the haul, and the show was amazing. I had so much fun. I can't say it enough. Thank you, Shoreline Toys and Antiques. You guys are awesome. And thanks to everybody that came out to my booth and bought stuff. You know, I ended up getting rid of, I believe, 3 short boxes worth of comics. So, not too bad. I didn't sell any of my keys. I did sell a handful of like $5, $10, and $15 books. And then I sold a whole bunch of my dollar books. And I was giving out deals left and right. If you bought something from me, I discounted it, you know, by at least 20%. You know, whether it was a priced book or even the dollar books, I ended up selling. I told everybody if you bought a handful, they're 50 cents each. So not too bad. I love giving out deals and I love making people happy. And it was really great to see, you know, a younger generation, you know, girls and guys buying stuff. It was just an amazing thing. I had so much fun. And that's the conclusion to today's video. I hope you enjoyed checking out my comic book haul and all that footage over at the Shoreline Outdoor Festival. So much cool collectibles, comics, toys, antiques. I mean, there was a little bit of everything at this show. All right, everybody, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed checking it all out. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you can see when I upload my next video. And as always, I'll see you on the next one.